Welcome to NFL Nexus. Today, we are diving deep into one of the most fascinating offseason situations in the entire NFL, and that's what's happening with the Denver Broncos. You know, this is a team that was right on the doorstep of the Super Bowl. They look like a real honest-to-goodness contender, until one single injury just completely derailed their championship dreams. Their season ended in absolute heartbreak, and now that front office is at a huge crossroads, facing decisions that are going to shape this franchise for years to come.
But hey, before we really get into the X's and O's of their offseason, just a quick note. Everything we do here is really supported by you guys, the viewers. So if you're looking for a fun way to help out the channel, we actually created some NFL-themed coloring books. They're perfect for the young fans in your life, or, let's be real, for you during a stressful fourth quarter. You can scan that QR code right on your screen or just find the link down in the description. Seriously, every little bit of support helps us keep making deep dives just like this one.
All right, so to really understand the weight of the choices they're facing right now, we gotta rewind. Let's go back and just soak in the atmosphere of that 2025 season. See, this wasn't just a good year for Denver, it was a statement. It was a season of pure dominance, where it felt like every single piece of Sean Payton's crazy detailed offensive puzzle was finally clicking. They weren't just winning games, they were taking teams apart. They were, without a doubt, the class of the AFC, and the whole city of Denver was buzzing with legitimate Super Bowl hopes.
And this is where the dream season just turns into a complete nightmare. They just steamroll through the regular season, right? A 14-3 record, they get the top seed, and that all-important home field advantage. In the divisional round, they survive an absolute war against the Bills, an overtime classic that ends 33-30. The stadium is electric, but right in the middle of that celebration, disaster. Late in that game, their star quarterback, Bo Nix, goes down with a season-ending injury. Just like that, the engine of their entire offense is gone. So 1 week later, in the AFC Championship, the Patriots come to a snow-covered Denver. With backup Jarrett Stidham at the helm, that offense, which was once a juggernaut, is just completely frozen. They can't do anything, and their season just dies in a brutal, ugly 10-7 loss. That's how close they were.
And so that agonizing defeat, it just echoes through the whole organization. It forces the front office to face this huge question. When you're already at the top of the mountain with a 14-win team, what's the next move? How do you possibly improve on what already felt like near perfection? What is that one single move that can get you over that final, seemingly impossible hurdle? Well, that's the puzzle we're going to try to solve today.
So here's our game plan. First, we're going to dig a little deeper into why they're at this specific crossroads. Then, we're going to break down 3 totally different paths they could take this offseason. We're calling them the value play, the all-in trade, and a little cautionary tale we've nicknamed the Sentimental trap. Each path, it represents a completely different philosophy on how to build a champion, and by the end, we'll see which one really makes the most sense.
Okay, so we've arrived at the heart of the matter. This isn't just about what players they should sign, this is about choosing a core philosophy. The decision the Broncos make this offseason is going to have a massive ripple effect, you know? It's not just going to determine their roster for next year, but it could define their entire championship window for the next, say, 3 to 5 years. It's really a choice of identity. So on one side, you've got the smart, calculated, fiscally savvy approach. Think of it like organizational discipline. This is where you're hunting for those undervalued players, guys who fill a specific role perfectly but don't cost a top-of-the-market contract. It's all about building a deep, sustainable roster and keeping your financial flexibility for the future. Then on the other side, you've got the aggressive, go-for-broke blockbuster. This is the all-in move. You basically mortgage your future, you trade away valuable draft picks, and you sink a huge chunk of your salary cap into one elite game-changing superstar. And the philosophy here is simple. Championship windows are short, so you do whatever it takes to win right now.
Now, what really makes this whole thing so intense is that the Broncos are in this rare, golden moment of opportunity. The single biggest advantage any team can have in the modern NFL is a talented quarterback on a cheap rookie deal, and that's exactly what they have with Bo Nix. It's like the ultimate cheat code for building a roster, right? It frees up tens of millions of dollars to spend everywhere else. On top of that, the gigantic restrictive contract of their old quarterback, Russell Wilson, is finally off their books. So you've got a 14-win team, an inexpensive franchise QB, and a ton of cash to spend. The championship window isn't just open, it's been blown wide open. But, as we all know, those windows can slam shut without any warning.
So let's explore path number 1. This is the calculated, financially responsible route, the Moneyball approach, you could say. It's all about finding maximum value and a perfect scheme fit without having to break the bank. And the player who perfectly represents this philosophy is free agent running back Tyler Allgeier.
And here's why this move is so intriguing. NFL Network's Steve Weish drew this really fascinating comparison. He suggested that a backfield with Allgeier and Denver's current back, R.J. Harvey, could look a whole lot like that legendary duo of Mark Ingram and Alvin Kamara that Sean Payton coached back in New Orleans. Now, for those of you who don't remember, that 1-2 punch was the engine of some of the most unstoppable offenses the league has ever seen. It's a proven blueprint for success in Payton's exact system, which makes this idea more than just a theory, it's a potential game changer. So what would Allgeier's specific role be in this duo? Well, he's the Mark Ingram. He's the hammer, a physical north-south runner who just lives for those short yardage and goal line situations. His job is to do the dirty work, pound the rock between the tackles, wear down a defense, and get those tough yards. But the real value here is the ripple effect. By handling all that punishing work, he frees up the more explosive R.J. Harvey to be used as this creative weapon out in space, kind of like Kamara was. And hey, don't think he's just some bruiser. Allgeier is productive. He punched in 8 touchdowns last year and already has a 1,000-yard season under his belt from when he was the lead guy. He is a known, reliable player.
But maybe Allgeier's most compelling trait isn't something you'll find in the box score. It's something that coaches value above almost anything else, especially when the games really matter. Perfect ball security. I mean, think about playoff football. The margins are razor thin. One fumble, one single turnover can completely swing the momentum and just end your season. For a team like Denver that just lost a 10-7 heartbreaker, the value of a guy who simply does not give the ball away, well, you can't even put a price on that.
Just let that number on the screen sink in for a second. 0. Yeah, that's not a typo. In 737 career touches, that's every single run and every single catch over 4 NFL seasons, Tyler Allgeier has never fumbled the football. It is one of the most unbelievable stats in the league today, and it just speaks to an elite level of reliability. When you sign Allgeier, yeah, you're getting a productive player who fills a specific need, but more importantly, you're getting a player who you know with absolute certainty will not make a game-losing mistake. He is the textbook definition of a high-floor, low-risk, high-value signing. All right, now let's do a complete 180 and explore the total philosophical opposite. If signing Allgeier is a smart, safe single, this next path is swinging for a grand slam. This is path 2, the all-in trade. It's a high-risk, high-reward move designed to win now, and the target is an undisputed top-tier wide receiver, the Eagles' A.J. Brown.
Before we even get to the draft picks, the story of this potential trade really starts and ends with this number, $96 million. That's the commitment that comes with A.J. Brown's contract. This is not a short-term rental. Trading for him means you inherit a massive, long-term financial obligation that's going to eat up a huge chunk of your salary cap for the foreseeable future. It's a decision with consequences that would ripple through your roster for years.
This table really lays out the gamble in plain terms. The cost is steep. You're sacrificing your future flexibility by trading away multiple valuable draft picks, which are the lifeblood of a sustainable roster. Financially, you're tying up a huge slice of your salary cap on one guy. It is the definition of a win-now philosophy. But the potential reward is immense. You're getting a true alpha #1 wide receiver who instantly transforms your passing attack from good to flat-out elite. You're getting a guy who lives for those high-stakes playoff moments, the guy who can go up and win a 50-50 ball with the game on the line.
And let's make no mistake about it, a trade for A.J. Brown would be a direct, strategic, and probably emotional reaction to that loss against the Patriots. It would be the front office basically screaming, "We are one player away." They watch their offense just freeze up in the snow, totally unable to generate a single game-changing play. Well, A.J. Brown is the antidote to that problem. He's the kind of player who can win his matchup and dominate a game no matter the weather, no matter the coverage, no matter the situation. This isn't about building for the future. This is about winning the Super Bowl next February. Period.
Which brings us to our third and final option. And we're kind of framing this one as a cautionary tale. It's a move that pulls at the heartstrings and, it seems logical on the surface, but it is filled with some dangerous red flags. We're calling it the Sentimental Trap, the idea of trading for running back Alvin Kamara to reunite him with Sean Payton.
And you can absolutely see the appeal. I mean, just look at that resume. In his prime, under Sean Payton in New Orleans, Alvin Kamara wasn't just the star. He was a legitimate offensive superstar. A 5-time Pro Bowler, a 2-time All-Pro, one of the most versatile and electric weapons of his generation. The numbers are just staggering. The temptation to believe you can recapture that magic and just plug that player into your offense, well, it's incredibly powerful.
But this timeline, this tells a much more sobering story. The harsh reality is that the player on that resume is not the player who exists today.
Kamara is now on the wrong side of 30, which is the age where NFL running backs historically don't just decline, they fall off a cliff. This 2025 season wasn't just a down year, it was a disaster, with career lows pretty much across the board. And to make it all worse, he's about to turn 31 and still carries a massive $18.6 million cap hit. You'd be paying a superstar price for a player whose best days are clearly in the rearview mirror.
And when you look closer at last season's numbers, the picture gets even grimmer. In 11 games, he averaged a sluggish 3.6 yards per carry, a huge drop-off. He scored one single touchdown. His total yards from scrimmage wouldn't even been a respectable half season back in his prime. The data is just undeniable. This wasn't a little dip in production, it was a dramatic, career-altering decline. This is not the player Sean Payton built his offense around. And trading for him now would be a classic case of paying for the name on the back of the jersey, not the player who's actually in it. And that's a mistake that can quickly derail a Super Bowl contender.
So, after going through all three of these avenues, we arrive back at the central question, the final choice. It's a decision that is going to set the course for this franchise, and it all boils down to three simple things: the player, the price, and the philosophy behind it all.
You know, laying it all out like this really makes the decision tree crystal clear. The value play with Allgeier is your high-floor, safe investment. It's a logical move that makes the team better without screwing up the future. The all-in trade for Brown, well, that represents the highest ceiling. He's the one player who could single-handedly make them Super Bowl favorites. But it comes with huge risk and a massive future cost. And then finally, the sentimental trap with Kamara, it kind of presents the worst of both worlds. You take on a big contract and a high risk, but for a declining player with a very low ceiling. It's a move based on emotion, not on logic.
So now, we're turning it over to you. We're putting you in the general manager's chair. You've got the 14-win roster, you've got the cheap QB, you've got the cap space, but that heartbreaking loss is still fresh in your mind. So, what's your move? Do you play it smart with the high floor value of Tyler Allgeier? Do you push all your chips to the center of the table for the game-changing potential of A.J. Brown? Or do you believe that magic can be recaptured with an Alvin Kamara reunion? Drop your choice down in the comments below, but don't just tell us the what, tell us the why. We really want to hear your philosophy.
And that's all for this deep dive. Hey, if you enjoyed this breakdown, do us a massive favor. Hit that like button and make sure you're subscribed to NFL Nexus so you don't miss any of our future explainers. And of course, if you want to support the channel directly, those coloring books are linked right down in the description. We appreciate every single one of you for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.